Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla is returning home to Earth after 18 days on board the International Space Station. The spacecraft is now expected to splash down in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of California around 3 p.m. Indian Standard Time tomorrow. India Today tracks Shubhanshu Shukla's space Odyssey and journey back home.
There on your screen, you're seeing a live look from the International Space Station.
Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla is all set for a ghar wapasi.
Spacecraft, and they're going into...
After spending 18 days on board the International Space Station, the second Indian to ever be in space is finally set to return to Earth on Tuesday. At precisely 4:45 p.m. Indian Standard Time, the Dragon capsule of the Exeo Mission 4 undocked and began its journey back to Earth. After a 22-hour-long journey, Shuk, along with astronauts Peggy Whitson, Slavoj Wisniewski and Tibor Kapu, will splash down off the coast of California in the Pacific Ocean at around 3 p.m. on July 15th. Before bidding farewell to International Space Station, Shuk paid tribute to India from space.
It has been made amazing or incredible because of the...
Echoing the iconic statement by the man who conquered space before him, Wing Commander Rakesh Sharma.
ऊपर से भारत कैसा दिखता है आपको?
जी मैं बगैर किसी झिझक के कह सकता हूँ कि सारे जहां से अच्छा।
आज का भारत कॉन्फिडेंट दिखता है, आज का भारत गर्व से पूर्ण दिखता है और इन्हीं सब कारणों की वजह से मैं एक बार फिर से कह सकता हूँ कि आज का भारत अभी भी सारे जहां से अच्छा दिखता है।
सारे जहां से अच्छा हिंदुस्तान हमारा तब भी और अब भी. Manish Purohit is a former scientist at the Indian Space Research Organization. He's a space educator, joins us on this broadcast. Shibu Tripathi is a senior assistant editor, science with us, joins us on this show. Manish Purohit, your appreciation of the past 18 days and how will this benefit India's space mission?
See, actually, this is the advent of India's human space program. So we have Gaganyaan planned on the lines of human space crewed missions returning back to Earth. All those intricacies have to be understood. Now, when we have our own Shubhanshu Shukla, our own Gaganyatri, who is the pilot for this particular mission, we get the first cut hands-on experience, in-person experience of how it feels when you lift off, leave the gravity, go to microgravity, stay there for 18 days, survive there, do the experiment, and then when you return back, what all are the different steps? You might have done many virtual environment things, you might have done many simulators, you might have done many things on Earth in the lab settings. But when you do it real time with the machine up there in microgravity, there is a lot of experience to gain from that, and that is going to help us when we talk about our Gaganyaan.
Okay. Shivu, impact on our body, whether we can grow plants in space. I believe it was moong dal and methi that he tried to grow in space. All of that is likely to help a lot in India's space station, Bharat Space Station. And by when do we see, like the International Space Station, the Indian Space Station?
Definitely, Gaurav, this was a very, very research-intensive mission, not just for India, but for countries across the world. 60 experiments were sent from across 31 countries. India had sent 7 experiments. As you rightly mentioned, that there were multiple experiments which was on plant growth, which was on how to develop photosynthesis process, which was also on how to develop life support system for India. Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla also tested tardigrades. Now, these are microorganisms that survive extreme weather environments. Going forward, India is planning to launch its own Bharatiya Antarik Station. The plan is to launch it by 2035. The modules will begin launching by 2035. And eventually, the plan is to go to the moon. 2040 is when the government has set that target. The Indian Space Research Organization has set that target. So all these experiments that were conducted by Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla will eventually help in strengthen these missions. Now, Bharatiya Antarik Station and the moon mission, both are long duration space travel. Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla also studied what will be the effects of gravity, long duration space travel on the human body. Now, when you are in space for a long period of time, your muscle mass is lost. You lose bone density. All this will now be studied by ISRO, by the institution that had developed those experiments. Once he returns, those experiments will be analyzed. We expect a lot of research papers to come out of this and a lot of new findings to come out of this for us and also for the world. Going forward, it's all about collaboration. The AX4 mission in itself is a major collaboration between multiple countries across the world. So ISRO is looking forward to gaining that insight from that collaborative approach. And the Bharatiya Antarik Station is going to begin formation by 2035, Gaurav.
This is very, very fascinating. You know, having a Bharatiya Antarik Station in space. We are also looking at how space science, it's not just for the super rich countries, but it benefits the common people in India, whether it's through, you know, predicting weather, whether it's for communication. It really benefits the armed forces, no doubt. But do we actually foresee, Manish Purohit, is it too fascinating to foresee living on moon or a colony on the moon?
See, actually, once technology matures, then it will be like, you know, traveling. First of all, traveling to the space has been a big challenge. How you are going to survive there when there is no pressure, when there is so much of radiation, when you can't control the temperatures, when there is no oxygen. So when there is no atmosphere, how are you going to survive? But then now we have an International Space Station floating around Earth for last 25 years, working perfectly, and not for a single second has been left vacant. It has been thriving with human activities for last 25 years, continuously. One cruise goes, other cruise come back, then the next replaces, and it's going on. So when that can be done, the next step, that lunar gateway, that what Artemis is planning, they are going to plan a lab around the moon in the lunar orbit, which will be a laboratory mostly operated by robots, but still there will be human intervention. And then from there, there will be a touchdown on the lunar base where astronauts will be staying there for the research work, and they will be using that as a depot to take a plunge towards deep space journeys, maybe towards Mars. You might have heard about SpaceX, Elon Musk's plan of Starship going to Mars and making, you know, human journey to Mars much more appreciable and much more approachable. So this is all about technology actually. And once technology matures, things appear very, very simple. I'll give you an example. Right now, we all use laptops. We all have, you know, scratch resistant glasses. We have RO facilities in our houses. But when first astronauts were being planned and trained and the systems were being developed back in 1960s, then there was a big challenge how you can take up such a huge computer system up there in the space. And then they started miniaturizing, and we got kind of laptop was first flown into the space. That kind of a research has given us so many beautiful things. The algorithms that were used.
And that's why science is so fascinating. It's so fascinating, and every day it's a new learning process. To both Manish and Shibu for joining me here on this India Today special broadcast. Many thanks. We'll have both of them back and a lot more conversation on this post 3 p.m. I mean, through the day tomorrow, but it's going to be very fascinating when that splashdown happens, and over the next several days on India Today, we'll have much more on this story.